today we are going to talk about energy sources, specifically how we categorize them as renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Now this word, renewable, what do you think it means? Renewable. Something that is able to become new. So does that mean renewable resources are new resources? No, not exactly. Let's look at this calculator. This calculator has something called solar cells. These cells can convert sunlight into electricity for the calculator. So does that mean I can use this calculator forever? Yeah, because every time the charge gets over, I just need to put this calculator under the sun. And the sun comes out every day, right? So, in that manner, these renewable resources like the sun, water, wind are things that we can't use up completely. These are the resources that replenish themselves quite quickly. Understood? Okay. Now, what does that mean non-renewable resources are? Do these resources not replenish themselves? Not exactly. So, let's take a look at this book. This book is about 300 pages long. Okay? Now, if you had to read this book completely from page 1 to page 300, how many days do you think it would take? A week? Maybe 2 weeks? Right? Not more than that. So, now let's think or let's imagine how much time it will take to write a book. When you write a book, you have to think about the stories, you have to think about the characters, you have to think about what happens, you have to think about where they go, what adventures they have, about how you're going to end the book. Is there going to be a twist in the middle? There's quite a bit of thinking to do, right? You have to think of all of that and then you have to write it down as well. So, the amount of time it takes to write a book could very well be like 1 year, maybe even more. Looking at these two time periods, 1 year to write a book, but only 2 weeks to read it, they're very different, right? That is what non-renewable resources are like. The non-renewable resources we have, which are petrol, coal, metal ores, oils, natural gas, all of these resources take much longer to produce than we take to consume. In a single trip, you could use about 3, 4, 5 liters of petrol, right? But do you know how many years, billions and billions of years it takes the earth to make that petrol, right? So, that is how we categorize renewable and non-renewable resources. Now, these non-renewable resources that we discussed, does that mean that they should be over by now? Well, they are a finite amount, and the more we use them, the lesser that amount becomes. Like if we had this book and we looked at all the words in the book, the more you read them, one by one by one, the more you cover of the book, right? So even though it may take a long time, it will definitely get over one day, right? And that's how these non-renewable resources are. Except there's one small difference between a book and non-renewable resources. When you have a book, you can read it again and again. When you have a non-renewable resource like gas, you can only use it once. After that, it's gone. So maybe we can think of it as a magic book where once you read it, the words disappear. So that means the next person who gets to read it won't have anything to read. Which is why it's important for us to watch how we consume energy and what sources we use.